Hey everybody, happy Easter Sunday to you. Beautiful day here in northern Georgia. Beautiful Easter Sunday. Couldn't ask for a prettier day. Blue sky, not a cloud in the sky. It's about 74 degrees. And I believe we're finally ready to plant for a change. You know, I told you on the last video we were going to plant about a week or two ago, and then the weather just took a turn for the worse. So having to push everything forward a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, we still got plenty of time. And what I'm going to cover today is irrigation raised beds, and I'm going to show you all of the fittings and stuff, various different things you can use, and show you a little bit about installing it and the way I have mine installed, and I hope you enjoy it and get something out of it. So let's get on with it. Okay guys, this is what we're looking at here. Basically what this is a pre-made drip emitter hose, and I'm going to show you a close-up of that in a second here, but I'm just kind of show you the way it's laid out in this bed here. I will have it, I will have stakes in this. I just have, if you saw the last video, I added some cow manure and some Miracle-Gro mulch and topsoil on there. So I just drop these things back over in the bed, and I haven't staked them straight. But basically the emitters in this hose, or this tubing rather, they're basically spaced 18 inches apart, and they're already I believe like one gallon per hour emitters. I used these last year with good success. I didn't have any problem with it at all. You can also add your own in there anywhere you want them. See if I can pan over here if you can see. Right there are some that I installed where I needed them. Those are kind of adjustable sprinkler type emitters. Like I said, they were just added to this, so you're very flexible with what you can do. You can go straight with the 18-inch spacing and use them that way, or you can add your own stuff. It doesn't make any difference. This stuff is very easy to work with. And down here, the way I came up in this bed, I actually put this system in before I put these beds, and by the time I got these beds laid out, they wound up just a little bit off center of the bed. So you can see on the right hand side right there, there's an elbow there that I put in to kind of take some of the strain off of that T where it didn't kink. If you get the thing dead in the center, you know, that's not necessary. You know, it'll make that turn without kinking, you know, pretty easily. So keep that in mind. But like I say, these were rough before I put the beds in, and by the time I had everything exactly where it needed to be, they wound up a little bit off center, but that's no big deal. I mean, you know, as you can see, it's got the bed covered. So anyway, I'm going to show you some of the fittings and things that are available and what I used on this. Okay, basically what these are right here are kits that you can buy from Rainbird or buy from Home Depot, Lowe's. They are Rainbird kits. Like I said, you don't have to do this. This is what I chose to do. In your one kit right there, it's an all-in-one drip system. It's a 47-piece kit, and even gives you a little diagram there on the back to show you, give you an example of how to lay it out. It's very, very simple to use. I use that, and then at the same time I bought the extra emitter hose because I had so much more to do. And but in your first kit, what you basically get is you get your emitter hose, and you also get your solid hose. Just depends on how much. If you need more, you can buy more, or like I say, you can buy just your 50, 100 foot of hose, whatever you need, tubing. Anyway, you can buy it any way you want to buy it. It all, I mean, it's just like I said, it's a matter of personal preference. You know, it just depends on how many beds you have to do, how many feet you need. So you can take it from there. I'm just showing you what's available. And this is what I was talking about with the emitter hose. You can see right there, there's a little hole right there, and on the inside of this thing, I don't know if I can give you, I probably can't give you a shot of that. You might be able to see in there, but there's an outraised portion, or should I say it's in-raised toward the inside of the tubing itself, and that's the actual emitter itself. In other words, it's not just a hole in the tubing like you would be led to believe. It's actually an emitter it's just hid away on the inside of the tubing. So anyway, that's kind of what that is. Okay, and here are some various different fittings that I have used in this project and will be using. Like I say, just trying to help you guys understand, what all is available for this system and this type of drip irrigation. As you can see right there, there's some there's barbed elbows, and basically you just slip the 1/2-inch tubing over those and it stays on. You don't have to use no clamps or anything like that. Same way with the T. And then these fittings right here were you saw them sticking up out of the other beds over there, and the reason I used those in that particular setup right there was because these things will pivot. And you saw me when I was tilling the beds in the last episode, how I just picked that whole drip tube up and just spun it out of the way, just flipped it up straight over and got it out of my way where I could till the beds, and then when I get done I just roll it back over and put it in. So if you're going to be doing that, then you need to use this type of fitting, because it will pivot for you, in which those barbed ones out there, they may pivot but they're not supposed to. So I'll put it to you that way. Various different ones. That was a T right here. This one right here has a fitting that can take you from a garden hose fitting, and then on the other side is where your 1/2-inch drip line will just push right onto it, and all this stuff does is just push together. And then you can use that if you want to hook a garden hose to it, or if you want to hook it to your hose spigot outside. That's the easy thing to do. Of course, if you have elbow, same deal. Like I say, these will be used. You can use them all. Use these every step of the way, or it's cheaper really just to get these cheaper ones right here, the plain barbed ones. And then that way you save yourself some money. But like I say, in a pivoting situation, that would be better to use. These are your stakes, and you just push these into the ground, and they just hold your tubing down. And like you see a picture of it on the front of the package right there. Work real good. And these are like barbed couplings, and that's what they look like right there. It's got in where you put your 1/4-inch drip tubing on it, and then this basically it's sharp right there, and it just you just punch it right onto your tubing with this tool right here. Stick it right up in the end, and then you can take that right there and push it right into your tubing line, and it'll all punch its own hole. And you just got to be careful when you're doing that not to push too hard, or you don't want to push through the other. Try to keep the pipe as round as you can while you're pushing this in, because you don't want to push it slap through the other side. You just want to punch that one layer there, not both layers. But that's a pretty easy tool to use. They have some better ones out there on the market than this, but this is the one I have. And if you ever want to remove one, it's got a little removal thing on the side right there. You just take that and slip it over and pop it back off, put a plug in it, whatever you want to do. That's a stake right there that you can actually clip your tubing, your 1/4-inch tubing right in there, and then just stake that right into the ground, and it'll hold it in place for you. This is particularly handy if you're gonna you need to run these things off to the side somewhere where your tubing is not actually going to be. If it's not going to be right in the way of right in where a plant needs to be, then you can take that and run it wherever you want to run it. Clip it off, and you can put a drip emitter on there, just like this. This thing right here will punch right into your tubing. Then you got a end right here where you can put the 1/4-inch tubing on it, and run it wherever you want to run it to. And if this right here is 1 gallon per hour, I got these because in some places I needed to add more than what I already had, and So I needed them to be the same gallon per hour as, you know, as what I was already, what the tubing already had in it. So just a few things there about that. And like I say, there's just tons of this stuff that you can get to help you do whatever, you know, whatever your application is. You know, it's there for you. It's at Home Depot, Lowe's, any place like that. Probably even places like Walmart even carry it, but I just happen to get this stuff at Home Depot anyway. But that'll give you kind of an idea about that. Okay guys, first thing we're going to do here is I pulled out a tape measure there on the bed. These are 5-foot square beds. So basically I'm going to pull off 2'6" and get me in the center of that bed right there. I see them, being these beds are already in place, I'm going to run these to the outside, so I'm just going to be teeing off of my solid line and jump it up in the center of my bed right there, and I'm going to set me another tee right there where I can just run a loop. So let's get that cleared out. Oh, good soil here, as you can see. Very good. I'll be able to grow some maters in here. This is where I'm going to put my maters this year. So. Ain't so soft right there. We'll get it though. We're not going to be very deep here. Not going to be very deep at all. It's really not necessary to go too deep with this. Just deep enough to where you're not going to hit it with anything. You know, like if you're running an aerator or something, you know, just make sure you just get it down there to where you're not going to punch a hole in your tubing, because in the wintertime you're going to want to winterize this anyway. And then we're going to come out here on the outside. And we'll punch through right there. I can see my punch through on the other side. Good old Georgia red clay. All right, we'll get that good and cleaned out. All right, got that part done. Now we're going to trench a little bit. Good old mattock, not good for a bad back. As you can see, I'm only going down about 3 inches with this. As I say, it is not necessary for this to be very deep at all, because I'm not going to have this on in the winter time. This will be drained down. So let me get this dug and we'll get back. All right guys, y'all can see we got this thing pretty well dug out all the way back to the point of the tie-in. I have already made my tie-in over at the other side of the greenhouse, right there where the line comes out feeding the other beds. Comes out of the greenhouse off the timer clock, which I'm going to show you all the timer clock here in a little bit. But this is where we are now, and I'm going to move the camera over and show you all how to put these fittings together and what you should do at that point. Okay guys, we're at this point here where we made our opening right here under the bed when we dug it. Now we're just going to take our barbed tee like we showed you earlier. And once you get this thing started going, they're pretty easy, like that. And just kind of lay it down right there. Kind of get you an idea about what you need just to turn up just inside of this. And it looks like a piece maybe about 4 inches, something like that. Don't have to be perfect. That's why I'm not even using a tape measure. Get you a piece there, and that looks like about 4 inches. Pair of scissors, cut it off. What I'm going to do at this point, get me a barbed L. Let me just stick this barbed L on here like so. Just push it all the way as far as you can get it. As you can see, I've switched off to black pipe, same pipe, still poly pipe, funny pipe, whatever you want to call it. Some of us old-time retired plumbers, we call it poly pipe, funny pipe. And then we'll just stick that on in the side of our tee. Push him up on there. Like I say, as good as you can get it. It's not going to come off. Try to get your L looking straight up. We'll tuck her in right there. Then we're going to take a shot. Get my tape measure. We'll get us a shot on this piece coming up. We just kind of want to keep our tee just right below the bed there. Kind of look, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It looks like about 9 inches. If I'm still in the camera here. Thumb marker. Another old plumber's deal. I was a plumber for 30 years before I retired. And now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put this tee on what they call bullheaded. This just kind of pushes in. There's a white fitting inside of that. It just kind of pushes over that, and it locks in with some tabs on the outside. And we're just going to push this down on there. And that's that. And basically there you have it, guys. Real easy to install. One thing I did not mention on those fittings, if you will moisten them a little bit, it does make them a lot easier to go together. I did not mention that, so I thought that would be a good helpful tip for you. Don't matter if you just wet a finger and wet them, spit on them, whatever you want to do to them, but anything to lubricate them a little bit will help them. Don't use any grease or anything like that. Just use water, and they'll slide on there just fine. The only other thing you want to do at this point, before you put any drip line on there, you want to turn that water on and flush any dirt particles that you may have gotten in the tubing out of it while that tee's open right there. So let's flush it. You can see the water starting to come out of the tees right there. Not going to be a lot of pressure on this, guys, because you got to remember this is just a drip irrigation system, and it has a 30-pound regulator on it, and it is also hooked to a to 4 more raised beds over there. So it's those drip emitters are running right now as we speak. But if there's any trash or anything in the lines, this will flush it out. You just don't want to get anything in there that's going to stop up your emitters. So just give it a good flush, and then you'd be good to put your drip lines on. Okay, guys, I want to apologize to you for the fan noise, because it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 93 degrees in this greenhouse, but I do have this mic on, so you should be able to hear me pretty good even over the fan. But this is my water timer here. It's a Melner. I'll provide the model number and everything down there in the description box. You can set this timer any way you want it, every many days of the week you want, every how many times a day you want, every how long you want it to water. And I bought this timer and a kit that comes with a 30-pound regulator and a backflow preventer. A backflow preventer, you do want to put that anytime you got any water lines buried underground. You want to make sure that you put a backflow preventer on there, or anti-siphon vacuum breaker or something like that. In the event that your house water gets cut off and this thing's running, it can, especially if you're on county water like I am, you never know when the county could cut the water off. It don't ever happen frequently or anything like that, but it could. But if they cut that water off and you're running this sprinkler system, just happen to be running at the same time, it could siphon all that water from your sprinkler system back into your drinkable, potable water in your house. So always make sure that you put a anti-siphon vacuum breaker or a backflow preventer, whether it be drip irrigation or lawn irrigation, anything like that, because you don't want to suck any fertilizers or any unnatural chemicals back into your drinking water. Anyway, that pretty well covers that. So moving on here. And there we go, guys. All nice and installed and backfilled and ready to go. Ready for some tomato plants. So y'all stand by for that. Okay, guys, that about wraps it up for our irrigation video. I hope it was helpful to you. And please feel free to comment, ask any questions. I'm always open to comments, whether good or bad or ugly or whatever. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I want to wish everybody a wonderful Easter, and may God bless you all, and we'll see you next time.